What are the qualities and characteristics that make up each and every aspect of the four-body system? Looking at that piece in the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. Great questions. Let's jump into it. Welcome back, adepts and initiates. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button if you haven't yet, to stay in constant contact with all the great content coming out on this channel. All right, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be focusing entirely upon the four-body system. Now, we've talked about this in generalities. We've discussed it in terms of what it is, how it really is a core concept that we're going to continue to explore in this whole concept of quantum wizardry. Today, though, we're going to break it down into parts and pieces, looking at what each and every aspect is, going a little further into how it relates to the four-body system, and then what are the attributes of each and every one of these, the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body systems. Today, we're going to focus on the physical body. It's the one that is most relatable because, look, here I am in my physicality, as you are as well. So this is one that is really great to focus upon because it's more not just relatable, it's just easier to connect with. We can see and we can perceive our physical bodies. It's something that's more tangible, which is one of the characteristics of it to begin with. And it's something that we can more directly influence by really looking at these parts, pieces, qualities, and characteristics. And so we're going to break it down into these pieces here: the path, the type of intuition, the element that it represents, the realm, which I'll talk about more in just a bit, the system or systems, and these are biological systems that exist, as well as the qualities. Now, all of this is going to be really great to dive into because as we build this foundation in terms of our own magic, mastering our own magic, being able to unleash our imagination, being able to feel deeply and to direct our emotions in a very conscious and conscientious way, and being able to bring in those energies at large. It all relates back to the four-body system, and the result is often experienced in physical atomic matter. And so what we're talking about with the physical body is physical atomic matter. And so how all of these things form, take shape, and ultimately materialize into the world. So let's start off first and foremost by talking about the path. As we talk about this concept of a path, this is really in terms of the body system as well as the intuitive talents. It ties directly into an area that we are most able to connect with and also more authentically able to express from. And so this concept of this path here is one of the builder. Now, this is more of an archetypal energy. However, when we're tied into areas of physicality, we are also tied into how it is that we create in the world. How is it that we influence in being able to materialize and to ultimately be able to build something of beauty. Now, that can be our own physical body, that can be buildings, that can be art. However, this aspect is a very conscientious focus upon how it is that we are actually materializing in our reality. Now, the intuition that most aligns with the physical body is the kinesthetic. Now, the kinesthetic is one who has high proprioception. Now, what proprioception is, if you think about, generally speaking, the sensory organs that we have, taste, touch, smell, sight, and sound, then these are all areas that we generally think about in these 5 primary areas. However, when we're really looking at the physical body, we also have 2 other areas that are really underappreciated. One is called proprioception, and that's our capacity to monitor and respond to the world around us. What does that mean? Well, if you were to stand up right now and take 1 foot off of the ground, and you just notice how your foot begins to wobble a little bit, right? There is this capacity that our body has to autocorrect, to observe, to monitor, and to respond. And that's what proprioception is, and that's a big part of the kinesthetic awareness. It's not just body and internal awareness of what's happening inside our own physicality, it's also this ability to monitor what's happening around and to best and most easily navigate in that, which is a big part of that intuitive talent. I'll also be having videos of this as well, going really much more focused upon that intuitive talent arena. However, for now, we'll keep it all about the physical body. Next, the element. Not unsurprisingly, the element that most relates to our physical body is earth. Now, why this is important is because we have then an affinity within the four-body system with a certain element. Now, these elements are great because if we're feeling depleted, or if we're feeling tension, or if we're feeling stress, we have the capacity to recharge, to replenish, to recuperate, and to regenerate when we align with the element that is most in alignment with the body that we're focusing upon. Now, going one down to realm, this one is a little more tricky, and I'll dedicate an entire video to each and every one of these. However, here we're looking at basically matter, or the physical atomic body. Now, this is how all of our particles, how all of our atoms then create different proteins, be able to create different fibers, be able to create our muscles and bones and so on and so forth. So this is a materialization, the material world as matter comes together. The system that is most related to the physical body is what's called our musculoskeletal system. This is not all that legible. The musculoskeletal system is the combination of all of our bones, the skeletal system. That includes, all the central area within our torso, within the more distal areas, all the way to our fingertips. Also incorporates all the muscles that allow us to move. And this gets into how it is that we are able to move through space by the manipulation of our bones and our muscles. Now, lastly, the qualities of this is tangible and receptive. And I'm going to explain this one a little bit more because it warrants a little bit more of an explanation. Tangible means that it's something that we can see, something that we can experience. It is something that is observable. And so as we're talking about with the physical body, one of the great things about this is that we can not just observe, we can interact with our body. We can feel it, we can see it, we can perceive it. Now, receptive means that on this aspect, when we look at it at its smallest area, right? If I have a shoulder, which is comprised of my deltoids, which are made up of muscle fibers, yada, yada, yada. If we look all the way down into it at its smallest measurable unit, its quanta, if you will, then it is something that can actually be programmed. Meaning, the dominant and most powerful thoughts, emotions, feelings can have an effect upon how these particles form. Which means when we talk about mind over matter, we can actually exercise dominion and authority and to a certain degree autonomy as we consciously engage with the very units of matter that make up our physical body. And not just our bodies. We really talk about things along the lines of manifestation and materialization. And the distinction there is manifestations are fields of information that then come into form, and that is materialization. And this is an area, as we really connect with our physical body, that is going to be an area that really develops, grows, and can be more established, is how it is we interact with fields of manifestation to then create the actual feel in material reality. Isn't that cool? I think so. And so when we look at this then, the qualities are tangible, we can see, we can engage, we can observe. Receptive, meaning that the aspect of the physical body can be influenced and impacted. And now as we look at that, we'll be seeing this commonality with the qualities through all the different body systems. They're going to be either tangible or intangible, kind of seen or unseen, receptive or projective, meaning that it can be something that can be imprinted upon, or it actually does the imprinting. If you have any questions on that, we can go a little bit further in some of that with some question and answers at another time. For right now, though, this is the general layout for the physical body. Path of the builder, part of the purpose and intention is to create in the world, to materialize, as we've mentioned. That intuition ties into kinesthetic, high body awareness, one of the physical aspects being that piece in terms of proprioception, the capacity to observe, monitor, and respond to the world around us. Element is tied to earth. So very much tied to those aspects that are very grounding and anchoring in this reality. Realm is a matter of matter, or our physical atomic body, which then directly ties into the system, which is the musculoskeletal system. Our bones, our muscles, and how we move through space. Qualities then are tangible and receptive, which means our ability then to perceive that materialization and to actually influence and impact by imprinting and encoding new information. Now, this is all a lot to take in. However, we'll be going through each and every one of the aspects of the four-body system, talking about all of these, and then ultimately tying them all together as we dive more deeply into this Quantum Wizardry. Take care. Ahuiho.